Hello,
Give it
everyone. Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Giuseppe, and I'll be your moderator for this session. Before we get started, a few quick housekeeping items. The session is being recorded, and will be shared the recording with you all after the event. We will send a follow-up email with some relevant resources as well. And please use the Q&A function to submit your questions at any time during the presentation. We will address as many as possible in the Q&A portion towards the end of the session. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today. He is Patrick Van Vema, CMC. Patrick is a senior project executive and AI strategist with over 30 years of experience leading large-scale digital and business transformations across both government and private sectors. He specializes in aligning AI initiatives with strategic business goals, helping organizations achieve measurable results while managing risk and driving operational improvement. Patrick also teaches at the Schulich and Spratt School of Businesses, where he prepares executives to lead through AI-driven change. Patrick, thank you for joining us. And please tell us what consultants should know about leading with intelligence.
fantastic, Josette. Thank you very much for the introduction. Just want to confirm before I start, can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes, we can.
Fantastic. So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the AI First Mindset, Leading with Intelligence. As Josette has said, my name is Patrick Van Avema, and I want to thank you very much for your time to guide you through this session, designed specifically for senior consultants who are ready to lead, not just follow, AI transformation. As consultants, we face a choice. Remain reactive implementers of AI tools or evolve into strategic architects of intelligence-enabled transformation. Today's session is about making that shift. We explore frameworks that help you position yourself as an AI literate advisor, someone who doesn't just optimize processes, but reimagines business models. We'll walk through the scale AI assessment and the intelligence advisory hierarchy, tools designed to elevate your strategic impact and differentiate your services in a rapidly changing market. This isn't just theory. You'll leave with practical resources, all aimed at helping you embed AI strategy into every client engagement. So let's dive in and explore how we, as consultants, can lead with intelligence and deliver measurable value in the age of AI. In 3 years, well, I should start first, is that AI disruption is both an opportunity and a risk. In 3 years, AI will decide market position in almost every industry. 73% of executives expect transformation, only about 1% report mature implementations. You can either deploy tools or you can lead with intelligence. Elevate your consulting practice with an AI-first strategy to command premium value. AI disruption creates both opportunities and risks, like I said. Clients need advisors who can architect intelligence, not just implement tools. Sorry. You use the following matrix. So the question is, why do consultants need to evolve, right? We want to move beyond technical competence. Without strategic literacy, it will simply create a commoditization risk. We need to commit to assessing client needs, drafting an AI-focused proposal, and building a 30, 60, 90-day roadmap to drive measurable results. I can provide references to these statistics after the webinar. So let's dive in a little bit. Here's the opportunity in one picture. When executives consider AI, the biggest risk is to assume it's only about tools and dashboards. In reality, hidden challenges like governance, integration costs, and cultural readiness are far more likely to derail implementation. Here's how you frame it. Ask AI itself to map the perceived versus real obstacles. This kind of prompt not only services the blind spots, but also shows leaders how to engage AI as a thinking partner in strategy, not just a technology project. The following illustration shows the namely planning and design, data collection and management, model building and tuning. The AI lifecycle management wheel you see on the left expands and expanded on the right to include further details in the lifecycle phases. Each chevron is shown with a stack of candidate technical and procedural considerations to be addressed in each lifecycle phase. Specifically, the planning and design lifecycle phase includes the following considerations: problem definition, data collection, quality plan, ethics and fairness, algorithm selection, model design, feature engineering, evaluation metrics, validation, and so on. The data collection and management lifecycle phase includes the following considerations, as you can see here. So as a consultant, there is a large opportunity in front of us. Not only are there challenges, but I believe, and it's my position that with every challenge there's an opportunity, and AI is no different. With AI being very disruptive force in the market, as consultants, I truly believe that this is an opportunity for AI literate advisors to position themselves in a value-based advisory role, right? So we can help with our clients, we can help with our team members, provide real value and solve complex problems using AI. One thing I want to mention here is that you'll notice that when you talk about problem definition, it's unfortunate, but in my experience, a lot of clients, a lot of stakeholders, do not define the problem well enough. They look for the symptoms, they don't look for the root cause. So problem definition is by far one of your first and most important steps in the planning design phase. Second only to that is data suitability, right? If we don't have good data, we don't have, we want to automate garbage. It's like garbage in, garbage out. So we want to make sure that you have good data governance, you have clean data to work with, because you certainly don't want to automate, the poor data or corrupt data in an AI, scenario. From there, you want to choose your model selection. You want to look for your evaluation metrics. How do you evaluate success? How do you measure success? How do you scale from a small pilot? And that's also one of the challenges that a lot of organizations are facing right now, is that they're stuck in a pilot phase. They bought a tool, they bought a solution, and they can't seem to grow out of it or expand beyond the pilot phase. So a question you have to ask yourself is, how do I scale going forward? How do I manage monitoring? How do I implement real-time monitoring so I don't expose myself to risk? Recently there's been a number of articles with Microsoft and AWS about how prompt interference and people are leveraging or using AI to access sensitive information. How do you protect yourself from that? How do you monitor that going forward? And of course, as I said before, how do you measure success? What are your KPIs going forward? One thing to note here, and I'm going to share with you a link if I can, or a prompt if I can do this. Give me 1 second. There we go. So in the text chat, oh, it doesn't look like I'm able to do that. I had a nice little prompt I wanted to share with you that I can help you with going forward, and thought I cut and paste, so I cannot. All right, I will give you examples of some simplified prompts, but what I wanted to show you is that there's, use AI to your advantage. It is very much a symbiotic relationship between humans and AI. It's a tool like everything else, but it is a very powerful tool, a very complex tool that, if used improperly and inappropriately, can cause a lot of pain, a lot of suffering for you and your clients going forward. So let's talk about what this looks like. This is what collaboration looks like. The human strategist frames the problem, in this case, preparing for a meeting. The AI analyst does the heavy lifting, pulling backgrounds, context, and key files in seconds. Together, they enable judgment that is both informed and fast. That is the difference between tools and transformation. So just to reiterate, the human role defines the strategic need. meeting effectiveness. The AI role executes analysis and surfaces insights at scale. So talk about the decision making. It's not a technical competence. Just because you may be good at something doesn't mean you're providing strategic value. Tool implementers will get commoditized. Right? Process optimizers will get replaced. Reactive advisors can get marginalized going forward. And unfortunately, that is the brutal truth. As an example of this, I ran a quick little demonstration. So you'll see here, this is an example of an Outlook. I've got Copilot running. And what I did earlier today was, in preparation for this meeting, as a consultant, I want to make sure that every meeting I attend, every meeting I participate in, that there's value, right? Not only am I providing value, but I also want to retain value, and I want to respect everyone's time as well. Their time is important, just as my time is important. So what I've asked the Copilot to do in this particular case was to analyze my meeting at 1 o'clock today and provide an attendee backgrounds from email history, meeting context, relevant drive files, and key decision points. What it came back with was this information. So Copilot came back, analyzed my meeting at 1 o'clock today, says you're scheduled to lead the webinar, the AI First Mindset, from 1 to 2 o'clock, and hosted by Gisette Lobo, who you met. Gives me a little background on their email history. So on this history here, it shows me, while the meeting invite lists you only as the attendee, extensive email exchanges between Gisette and I reveal a collaborative planning process involving Allison and the CMC team. These individuals have been instrumental in coordinating logistics, marketing, content development for both this webinar and the upcoming fall workshop. And it identifies who the members are of this meeting that we're going to. So as a consultant, I can go into any meeting well prepared, well informed of who the participants are, what their backgrounds are, what are they looking for, and what history we've had back and forth. So it's very much like a client relationship management tool, but I didn't really pay for it. I've already paid for it with the Copilot license. I could do this with any AI tool that is connected to my calendar. So with ChatGPT, I have that also enabled. I could do that with Claude. I could do it with a number of different AI tools. I just chose Copilot for this demonstration. It goes even further and talks about what the meeting context is. So what is the meeting context, what the purpose is, what is it designed to do, what are some of the key points that I want to highlight, and if there are relevant files. So if Josette and I have had an exchange over the last few months, I want to be able to review some of those files or access those files off my drive. And it allows me to link directly into my drive from this calendar. I don't have to do a thing. This whole process took less than 5 seconds to set up. From there, some key decision points of what I should be thinking about when I participate in the meeting. And then I can go into a lot more detail. So I actually had a nice little chat with it just before the meeting, and came up with some talking points. So that is one example of what you can work with going forward. And in fact, I will also want to share with you another example. So in the previous screen, you notice that I've took a screenshot of that matrix, the AI lifecycle matrix. And then I asked, I'm now in ChatGPT, I'm using ChatGPT 5. I asked, my prompt was, as a senior executive, I want to understand the misconceptions, hidden challenges, and real costs of AI adoption, and how to close those gaps for successful integration. And I've just used a federal government department with global affairs. So as a senior executive in decision making at global affairs, again, just playing a little role playing here, I'm exploring the implementation of AI. I want to understand the common challenges leaders like me perceive versus the real obstacles that might prevent success. Specifically, and it goes through some ideas. I wanted to understand typical misconceptions, hidden or organizational challenges that go unnoticed, hidden costs of implementing AI within the organization, strategic, technical, security, and cultural factors that could hinder my firm's AI goals. How can these gaps be addressed to ensure successful integration of AI and then produce your response in a tabular format. And then what I did was it produced exactly what I was looking for. So it goes back to having a well-defined prompt, a contextual prompt. And we get into, in the workshop, we talk about the concept of meta prompts, going into very detailed prompts to get exactly and specifically what you're looking for. But you can see what, as a first round, it came out with some categories on strategic alignment, data readiness, talent and capability, technology infrastructure, governance and risk, change management, security and sovereignty, performance and ROI. And it talked about what are some of the misconceptions that I may come across as an advisor, an AI advisor. AI is a plug and play technology that can generate immediate ROI. What the lack of enterprise-wide alignment between AI pilots and departmental mandate, hidden costs, strategic misalignment leading to duplicated pilots, sunk costs, and isolated experiments. Factors hindering AI calls, absence of an enterprise AI roadmap, siloed adoption, lack of KPIs tied to diplomatic or operational outcomes. How to address those issues, develop a phased AI roadmap that measures, let's see if I can't bring this over, but that measures the whole environment. I don't know why I can't seem to go through the screen. That's okay. No, I'm a little off there, but it gives you an idea of what AI can do for you. So again, it is a collaboration between you as the strategist and AI as the analyst, right? And the whole idea, like AI is fantastic at distilling large amounts of information. Its speed, its scale, its precision is unmatched, but you still need to give it direction. You still need to have a vision of what you're looking for. You still need to have judgment. You still need to have understanding and whether it's relevant or not. And of course, you always have to protect yourself against hallucinations. So let's jump into it a little bit. Cultivating an AI first mindset. When this slide gets to the heart of what it means to lead with intelligence in the AI era. An AI first mindset isn't about tools and technology. It's about the way we think and act as advisors. There are 8 critical elements. There's continuous learning and curiosity. AI is evolving daily. Our advantage comes from staying curious and adaptable. Human and AI collaboration. Success comes with consultants and clients see as AI not as a replacement, but as an augmentation or amplifier of human judgment. Ethical use. Clients are looking to us to set boundaries around bias, privacy, and fairness. This is where the trust is built. Change agility. Every AI initiative introduces disruption. Advisors who can help organizations pivot quickly create massive value. Strategic problem-solving focus. The differentiator is not technical capability, but the ability to frame and solve the right problems with AI. Analytical thinking. AI generates patterns and insights, but it's our job to interpret them in context. In AI-enabled innovation, consultants who connect AI to new business models and revenue streams will lead the field. And leadership and AI literacy. Finally, leaders must speak the language of AI fluently through enough to inspire confidence and guide transformation. In short, cultivating an AI-first mindset means shifting from being tool implementers to becoming transformation architects. This mindset is what positions us and our clients for competitive advantage. The AI-first transformation matrix maps the journey. Right? Reactive work improves efficiency, but rarely shifts perception. Proactive work builds capabilities that change the slope of performance, and transformative work rewires business models and culture. Each stage compounds influence and multiplies success. Your mission is to keep evolving, project by project. Here's the reality. Most consultants will struggle in the AI era. Why? Because there are too many are stuck in stage 1, reactive advisors. They focus on tool implementation, process automation, and efficiency gains. That's valuable, but it gets commoditized quickly. Anyone can implement tools. The next stage is the proactive advisor. Here, consultants begin to connect AI to strategy, capability transformation. They stop being tool experts and start becoming strategic partners. This is a step forward, but it's still not enough to secure premium positioning. The true differentiation lies in stage 3, the transformative advisor. These are consultants who help clients redesign business models for the AI native world. They guide cultural evolution, reshape how value is created, anchor AI in leadership and governance. That's why our vision is to move consulting from technology deployments to designing intelligence architectures. This reshapes the market, creates new competitive advantages, and positions you as to command premium rates. And here's the key takeaway. Clients don't buy PowerPoint decks. They buy velocity, accountable outcomes. They buy advisors who can translate AI into measurable, transformative impact. So this is the pivot. Stop selling to tools and cost savings. Start selling intelligence, transformation, and competitive advantage. Strategy determines which decisions deserves AI assistance, which data must be trustworthy, and help people adopt new ways of working. When you frame solution to a problem as an advantage, I'll say that again. When you frame solution to a problem as an advantage, as I said earlier, every challenge has an opportunity. It's up to you to determine what that opportunity is. This slide represents a critical mindset shift, the insight pivot. Too often, consultants frame that value around tools and cost reduction. We say things like we optimize processes, we implement tools, we reduce costs. While these are valid, they tend to commoditize our services. Every firm is promising efficiency and cost reduction, and clients see little differentiation. The pivot is to reframe your positioning around intelligence and competitive advantage. Instead of tools, emphasize outcomes. We architect intelligence. We enable transformation. We create competitive advantage. Notice the difference. One language is transactional. The other is transformational. Clients don't hire us to cut costs. They hire us to shape their future. And here's the essential question I want you to take away. What problem are you trying to solve with AI? When you can answer that in terms of outcomes, you move from being a tool implementer to being a trusted transformation partner. The key advantage is you escape price pressure. You escape this idea of race to the basement, where you're competing only on price instead of competing on value. Because you're accountable for the outcomes, not keystrokes, PowerPoint decks, or licenses. This slide answers one of the most common client questions. Where should I even start with AI? How do I begin? What is the best value for my money going forward? The truth is, most organizations begin with entry-level use cases. Customer service chatbots, basic accounting automations, or HR process support. These are low cost, low risk, and easy to pilot. They build familiarity and confidence. But the real opportunity, the premium value, comes with AI when AI is applied to core business levers. Think of a supply chain optimization, sales forecasting, dynamic marketing personalization, or enterprise-wide process redesign. These aren't about shaving costs at the edges. They're about reshaping the way the business creates value. As consultants, our job is to help clients navigate that progression. Start small to show proof of value, then expand into strategic AI-enabled transformation. And that's why the most important question we can ask is, what problem are you trying to solve with AI? The answer to that question determines whether you're doing entry-level automation or building a premium competitive advantage. So let's talk about the scale AI assessment for a moment. This skill assessment model, strategy, capability, architecture, and leadership and ethics, and we'll call it the scale assessment model. IT services red flags like leadership literacy gaps or missing data governance. It reveals investable opportunities. Weight dimensions by industry relevance. Use it to prioritize a wave of high ROI use cases to govern execution, improve value as you scale. This is a practical framework that anchors everything we've been talking about. When clients ask, where do we even begin with AI? This is the answer, or one of many answers. Scale gives us a structured way to evaluate readiness across 5 critical dimensions. Strategy. Is your AI aligned with the organization's business objectives and competitive positioning? For example, how does AI support your 3-year plan? Capability. Do you have the talent, skills, and organizational readiness to adopt AI? Questions you should ask yourself: what expertise currently exists within your workforce? Architecture. What's the state of your data, tech stack, and system integration? I cannot stress how important data governance is in a successful implementation for AI. Can your data even support AI reliably? Leadership. Who's sponsoring transformation? Is there a governance in place to overcome resistance and sustain change? Ethics. How will you manage risk, compliance, and responsible AI practices? This is where the trust is either won or lost. The power of scale is that it transforms a vague, intimidating conversation about AI into something structured, accessible, and actionable. And for us as consultants, it becomes an effective discovery insight tool. We can walk into a client conversation and quickly diagnose readiness, spot the gaps, position ourselves as trusted advisors who aren't just pushing tools, but guiding real transformation. Next, we want to talk about strategic positioning for AI literate leadership. So in this slide, we talk about true AI advisory value. Is it in tools? It's transforming processes, embedding AI into culture. This pyramid represents a hierarchy of value in AI advisory. At the base, we have tools, helping clients select and implement the right AI technologies. This is where most consultants stop. But tools are the easiest to commoditize. Clients can buy them off the shelf or outsource them cheaply. The next level is processes, using AI to reimagine and transform how business workflows actually operate. This is a more strategic level because it is not just about plugging in software, it's about redesigning operations for efficiency, insight, and adaptability. But the true differentiator is at the top, culture, helping organizations become AI native, AI literate in their design, decision-making, and leadership. Culture is what sustains change. It determines whether AI becomes a bolt-on experiment or a core driver for transformation. So here's the point. Consultants stay at the tools level will struggle. The real premium positioning comes from guiding clients up the pyramid, from tools to processes to culture. That's where the long-term transformation and competitive advantages are created. So what does this look like? Let's take a look at a 30, 60, 90-day roadmap as an example. In the next 90 days, or in 90 days, you can build momentum. You can assess your AI readiness, propose templates, launch with thought leadership, and measurable client engagement. This slide gives us something every client wants, a clear, actionable roadmap. For example, in September, we can spend our efforts around assessment, right? The first step is to complete an AI literacy and readiness assessment. This gives you the baseline of where your organization or your client is today. At the same time, update your positioning language to reflect AI fluency. Words matter, and clients notice when you speak in the language of intelligence rather than tools. In October, we can look at what do we propose? What's the proposals? With the baseline in place, integrate the assessment into discovery conversations. This ensures you're diagnosing opportunities systematically. Then develop AI-focused proposal templates so that you're consistently presenting clients with transformation-driven outcomes, not just tactical projects. And then in November, launch. Finally, launch your thought leadership content strategy. Begin publishing insights that position you as an AI literate advisor. At the same time, measure improvements and client engagement, because what gets measured gets improved. I'll say that again. What gets measured gets improved. The key point here, in 90 days is enough time to create visible momentum. The momentum builds confidence, both for you and your clients. Another thing I wanted to mention too is I always say to my clients, if you don't know where you're going, then any path will take you there. So have a roadmap, have a strategy. But a strategy without tactics is just wishful thinking. So have something that's as tangible and tactical. So in the first 30 days, your goal is simple. Complete 3 assessments and update positioning. Within 90 days, you should see an increase in AI-related proposals. By 12 months, within 12 months, your practice should be commanding a premium positioning with client-based studies to prove it. The roadmap is measurable, visible, and achievable. So I would quantify success. So again, have a roadmap, have key metrics that you want to measure against. What are your success metrics? How difficult would it be to engage 3 clients that you have today and say, we would love to talk to you about an AI readiness assessment. We'll walk you through this together. We'll discover together what needs to be done, where your gaps are, where your blind spots are, and so on. Within 90 days, you'll see a shift. I guarantee it. You'll see a shift in your proposals, right? We're now seeing it today with a lot of RFPs and a lot of bids coming out. There's a lot more AI literate needs and requirements. So we need to get ahead of this. And finally, within a year, you should be able to position yourself as a premium AI literate advisor. So strategic insights, transformative results, and driving change with measurable impact. So there's no opportunity without risk, and risk is normal, but unmanaged risk is optional. Expect at least 3 blockers with leadership buy-in. Minimum 3 blockers, probably a lot more in some different markets. Data maturity, unrealistic expectations, the early warning signs, your budget deferrals, incomplete data inventories, the winning strategies for high success probability is a small win pilot. Short data audits and ROI anchored proposals. So don't go big, start small, but have a path and have a vision of where you want to end up in 30, 60, 90 days and with 1 year as well. But look for the signs, look for the roadblocks, look for the red flags, look for the green lights as well. It goes both ways, right? So be strategic in your approach. And your decision moment is velocity matters. Small wins create confidence. Confidence creates opportunities, and opportunities creates premium engagements. So just reiterate, start now, start today. Look for scheduling an AI readiness assessment with 1 client. Draft an AI-focused proposal using AI. Book your checkpoints. Identify what your 30, 60, 90-day checkpoints should be. The future belongs to AI literate advisors. Begin now. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit of a Q&A. We have lots of time. But before I do that, I wanted to talk about a little bit about leading with intelligence. And that's good. Fantastic. So leading with intelligence. So use these frameworks to guide clients from aspiration to repeatable outcomes. Download the toolkit, connect afterwards, and let's compare notes with your first pilot. The goal is not a project, but it's building a durable advisor and with better outcomes for the organizations we serve. Pricing AI services isn't about hours, it's about outcomes. As consultants, we need to shift from selling tools to selling transformation. A practical approach is to start with a fixed price assessment and then expand into a roadmap engagement, and finally move into a longer-term advisory retainers. The key is to de-risk adoption with a small pilot and then use that success to position engagements. Remember, clients don't pay for code or dashboards, they pay for competitive advantage. They pay for outcomes. So just want to reiterate, anchor on value, not hours. Traditional consulting is time and materials. AI consulting should pivot to outcome-based pricing. Position at the strategic level. Don't sell tools, sell outcomes. A language shift could be, instead of saying we reduce costs, We architect intelligence. We architect successful outcomes. And de-risk the pilots. Clients hesitate because of uncertainty. Position small win pilots, one department, one process, one AI workflow at an accessible price to build confidence and demonstrate ROI. Once proof is visible, upsell to enterprise scale engagements. Before we stick there for now, I will look for any guidance. Josette, and let's go through some of the questions we have. Josette, anything you want to ask before we get into the Q&A session of the webinar?
No, I think we can jump right into the Q&A. We have some great questions in the chat and also the Q&A. So let me just start by reading the question from Ian Campbell. In what ways can we ensure that our questions and prompts to AI are neutral, so we don't inadvertently steer the responses to our own preference instead of achieving the best possible results for our clients?
Excellent question. There was so some tools. I mean, those who have used AI, some tools can be very subjective and can hallucinate as well. I mean, ChatGPT has been very well known for hallucination. I personally found in my experience that Perplexity is actually very good, but also Claude. Claude is excellent. I've had almost zero hallucinations with Claude AI. Once you determine, you have to state obviously that you're looking for a verifiable citation. So anytime I ask a question, I ask in the prompt, I say, please provide in a verifiable quotation, and I usually do like an APA 7 format. And I know that any references that it provides, it's been checked. It's been verified, and of course, just like the human in the loop, AI is like an overzealous, assistant, research assistant, analyst assistant, whatever you want to call it. But in the past, they've been overzealous in trying to impress you, and they will hallucinate, especially with let's say OpenAI and ChatGPT. But I find that Claude is quite good at objective, verifiable citations, and I don't find any problems with hallucination with Claude. Did I answer the question? I'm not sure if I answered the question properly.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Patrick, and thank you, Ian, for the question. Ian has a follow-up question. What are the KPIs for competitive advantage?
Excellent. That depends on the client. It depends on the circumstance. I would look for not only KPIs, but I would look for objectives and key results, OKRs, right? So I would start with maybe some objectives and key results. So we start within 90 days. One of the objectives and key results would be I want to book. I want to complete 3 assessments with 30 days. In 30 days, I want to complete 3 assessments with existing clients. Or if I'm fairly new to AI and I wanted to build my AI literacy in the next 30 days, I want to take at least 3 courses or 5 courses, whatever those KPIs or those metrics have, but have some metrics to build your AI literacy, and then at the same time, try to engage clients, because I find the best way to learn is actually to engage clients. Because sometimes, I mean, I personally, in my experience and my own discovery or my own roadmap, what I thought was what the clients were looking for, what I thought was important to them, was not important to them at all. They actually provided some really good insight on what was important for them, where they want to take AI, what problems they want to solve, not only at an implementation level, but at an operational level and at a strategic level as well. So your KPIs will depend on your client, will depend on the market, but the important thing is to be curious and ask lots of questions, and just use AI as your overzealous assistant, but trust but verify. Did I answer the question?
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Patrick. We have a question from Sunil. In your example, the executive could have directly used ChatGPT to get answers themselves. So what is the real value consultants will bring to the table in the AI age going forward?
That's an excellent question. So I think it goes back to human in the loop. It goes back to judgment, understanding, ethical use of AI. If we were to simply hand over, flip it over the fence and say, AI, take care of all my problems for me, and tell me when you're done, without any guidance, how do you ensure success? How do you ensure that you get the results you're looking for? So I think, as advisors and as consultants, we are in a, we're pivoting towards a more strategic role. We're no longer only looking at implementers and at a tactical level or implementation level, but is more strategic. And I think that is a great opportunity for us to position ourselves in that strategic role so that we can then service our clients better. We can provide better value for our clients, better value for our teams, and ask more pertinent and more in-depth questions when trying to solve complex problems. So it's not just about implementing tools or letting AI do all the work for me. It's about how do I direct it? How do I strategically align to what the clients are looking for, what problems they want to solve, and can we do this in the shortest time possible and add real value? And velocity is important. Add real value to the client. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you. We have a question from Sanjita. Will this presentation deck will be shared with the participants? Yes, it will, as well as other resources and the recording of the session as well. Michael has a question as well. Can you give us some insight into AI and security? For example, how security is the information, secure is the information and question data we acquire via these tools? Where is AI and security heading?
Yes, and that is an excellent question because security is a concern for a lot of people. We've seen examples this week or last week from Microsoft and AWS where they were compromised. A lot of the their tools, AI tools, were compromised. They were actually someone had managed to get in, use a prompt, and actually was able to collect or access very sensitive information. So security definitely is a concern. I myself, I'm in the process of looking at, OpenAI just announced a new open source, the OSS GBT. You can download it from LM Studio or from Llama, and you can actually run a secure LLM on your own system with very little, little resources. You don't have to buy a whole server to do this, but secure. Data residency, data governance, air gapped, systems are going to be something that's going to be very, very important going forward. The challenge we have is that if we put too much trust in AI without those guardrails, without those guidelines, those security guidelines, in Canada, we align ourselves to ITSG 33, which is our security framework. That is very much aligned to the NIST framework down in the States and ISO. So I would, if you're working with the federal government here in Canada, I would definitely take a look at ITSG 33 security framework and see how your solution is aligning up to that framework. If you're in the States, I would look at NIST, their security framework, because with Homeland Security, they do a lot of work with that, and of course ISO as well. So it is a problem. And I know I'm a little rambling here, but it is a problem that you need to look at. Every client needs to be thinking about security when they implement AI. You cannot simply just turn on an agent and let it run without some sort of human oversight or guardrails and how you protect your data going forward. I cannot stress that enough. And we're seeing examples of this already in the market where people were overzealous in building AI agents, and now they're exposing themselves to all sorts of problems. Did I answer your question?
Yes. Thank you, Patrick. Let's see here. We have one more question in the chat from Richa. How does the transformation advisor look like? Can you give us a case study?
Oh, that's an excellent question. You know what? I think I wonder if I could take that offline and I could put together something that I could share with the group going forward. But a transformation advisor is, it basically is what problem are you trying to solve, right? So you're not a tool implementer. So let's talk about what you're not as a transformation advisor. As a transformation advisor, you're not focused on just the tools. You're not focused on just the symptoms. You're looking for what is the root cause. How do we identify? How do we transform the culture? How do we, those three layers, we go from the tools to processes to culture. We need to be at that top layer. How do I transform the culture from maybe a plan-driven, culture to a change-driven culture, or maybe a risk-adverse culture to a more a risk acceptance or risk tolerant culture. Because when you turn on AI, I mean, there's a lot of risk. There's without a doubt, and there's things you have to, a lot of questions you have to ask. And I'm sure if you ever deal with security teams in the federal government or even private sector, they are all over you on questions about how do you protect your data, how do you make sure that you're not sharing private information, you're the stewards of this information, and that sort of thing. So, from a transformation advisor, I would say your goal is to get into that top tier, right? How do I sustain change? How do I transform the culture? But I obviously start with the tools and the processes. But the real profile, I should say, is something I would definitely share with you after this webinar. I think it's an excellent question, but I don't have a short answer for it. There's lots of things we can talk about there. I can go on for hours.
I truly believe that, Patrick. Thank you for your input. Moving on to the next question, where does cultural assessment come in on the scale framework?
The culture? Oh, that's an excellent question. I would say it permeates everywhere. I mean, just you look at if you're looking at leadership, leadership has a lot to do with culture. Are you in an environment where your leadership are risk tolerant or risk adverse? Are you in a culture that encourages transparent communication or siloed communication? Are you in a culture that decisions are made by one or two individuals that are accountable for those decisions, or they're in a culture where it's consensus by committee? So culture really permeates almost everywhere through the scale assessment model. But leadership has a lot to do with it. Ethics has a lot to do with it. I mean, obviously, with ethics, we're worried about, are we compliant? How do we manage our clients' data? Because we're stewards of that data. So, I mean, that definitely would play a role in the cultural aspect of it as well.
All right. And I believe that same person have another question. Can you share an example of AI native organization or AI native culture? Can AI first mindset be a foundation for culture change?
Oh, that's an excellent question. That's tough. As I said in my first slide, 73% of organizations plan to change, or they expect their industries to change, but only 1% is ready. And I think that illustrates that point, is saying that how do you pivot and create an AI first culture. It again depends how big the organization is. I've personally found, my personal experience is saying that the smaller teams, I go to like Jeff Bezos with his two pizza rule. If you want to implement change, you want to make sure your teams are small enough so you can feed them with only two pizzas going forward. So start small, start with people who are on that change curve, that early adopters. You don't want your laggards to be leading this, definitely, but on a change paradigm or a change curve. You're looking for early adopters. You're looking for those who can really see the benefits of AI going forward, and that's where I would start with the culture shift. I think with every team, especially an established team, especially in certain markets, you're going to have a mix of different personality types, and to really instill a culture of change and culture of AI first. Either you have to start from the basement, start from the ground up, or it's going to be a pivot. And if it's a pivot, how big is the organization? So some organizations, they're fairly large. They have thousands of employees. Well, you're looking at a change of 1 degree at a time. It's like moving a big ship. It moves 1 degree at a time. But in some cultures or some organizations where they have a small team, you'll see that change pivot a lot sooner, a lot faster. So it really depends on the size of the team, the culture that you're dealing with, and the need. Right? It goes back to the need of what problem are you trying to solve with AI. If you're just buying, for example, if you're just buying Copilot, and because everyone else is buying Copilot, or you're buying, ChatGPT. Let's use Copilot. I'm going to pick on Microsoft for a minute. Have you identified what problem you're going to solve with Copilot? Is it just a shiny new coin, or it's a new tool, and you've bought let's say 20 licenses, and then you give it out to your technical group, your IT folks, and then say, hey, go at it. Let me give you some feedback without any guidance, any structure, any specific outcomes, any strategy. you're going to get a mixed response. You're going to get people who say love the technology, not sure how I can apply it to a business purpose or business outcome because you haven't identified what problem you're trying to solve. So first and foremost, before you invest in AI, identify what problems you want to solve with AI and where you can fit those solutions. Did I
All
answer
right.
your question?
Yes. Thanks, Patrick. Um, we still have a few more minutes, so I will
Sure.
move on to the next question. How do we allay apprehensions around studies that show limited productivity gains among employees due to AI usage? What has been your experience around the ROI of AI implementation?
That's an excellent question. So there's lots of reports out there saying that AI is failing with their pilots, and I obviously would like to understand the root cause. And there's some really good studies that are done by McKinsey, by Deloitte, by Boston Consulting Group, to name a few. Gartner has some excellent studies as well. But the way to avoid failure, right? I would start with priorities. So when you start with priorities, you start with what you don't want. We don't want to fail. We don't want to just buy a tool. We want to solve problems, right? Going forward. We also want the people who are involved in the pilot to be AI literate. So the question I would ask, to avoid failure or to address, a failure scenario is: have you given, you've sure given them the tools, you bought the license, but have you armed them with the information so that they are AI literate? Have you gone through like like a prompting course? And I know that seems fundamental, but a well-structured prompt can save you hours of work going forward if you know how to prompt properly, know what the structure looks like, how it all fits together. So I would argue that a lot of the failures in AI pilots is because they weren't given proper guidance, proper KPIs, OKRs, objectives, key results, and structure to be successful with check-ins, right? We have to make sure we measure success. So how do you measure a pilot success is make sure you have a check-in, you have milestones at every stage to say, okay, did we hit our target during our pilot? Was it successful? Yes or no? Did I answer your question?
All right. Yes, yes, Patrick. Thank you. And we are getting closer to the end of the session, so I will go over one more question. We have still a few more to go over, so I will try to follow up with those that submitted their questions after the webinar.
Yep.
But for now, the last question is with a wide variety of tools available, what constitutes as being AI literate? What extent of knowledge is helpful as a consultant? For example, knowledge of developing AI agents, does it help?
Yeah. It definitely helps, but it depends where you want to be and where you are in the in your role as a consultant. So for my case, I work as a project executive. I work as a management consultant. Yes, I am technical, but I don't want to. I'm very curious about building agents, but that's not where I want to spend my effort. I mean, not to say I don't. I'm doing it anyway. But the idea is that how do I define myself as AI literate? There's some excellent courses. Google has some free courses. Microsoft has free courses. There is LinkedIn. LinkedIn has, if you're a premium member of LinkedIn, you have tens of thousands of courses available to you for like $250 a year. Maven is another great site that I find extremely useful. They have all sorts they call lightning sessions. It's 30 minutes. It's free in most cases. Some, of course, you have to pay for. But Maven, maven.com is excellent. CMC is planning to offer a number of webinars and courses as well. So there's a number of different venues to choose from. Some free, some not. Depends on the value that you get. There's a lot of free courses out there. Not always good. But I would start with Google. I would start with CMC. We're doing more of these sessions to give it a plug. But Microsoft has some excellent materials. Claude has some excellent materials. There's what are the other ones I'm going to think about? LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, excellent materials there. They're really ramping up on their AI literacy courses.
That's right. Yeah. And here at CMC Canada, we already have one course on ChatGPT, and we are planning a few more as you mentioned, Patrick. So yeah, thank you for that. So yeah, with that, let's wrap up. Do you have any last comments, Patrick?
I do actually. So I like to just highlight is saying that one of our insurance member programs. So as a CSC member, we I'm giving a plug here for BMS. BMS has been great to work with on my personal note. They focus on risk and liability. So if you're working as a management consultant, it's very likely you'll have to carry errors and omissions, and being a CMC member gives you a discount on those insurance items as well. So it provides key coverages, including the CMC errors and omissions insurance program. And finally, don't forget, as we mentioned earlier, we have a workshop scheduled for September. We can be expanding on this webinar, and we want to encourage people to sign up and take advantage of the workshop. The management consultants or CMC members will earn 4 CBD credits while gaining insight on how we can move forward. So I just want to thank everyone. Thank you today for joining today's session and the AI First Mindset. I hope you're leaving with not just new ideas, but actionable tools to elevate your consulting practice in this era of intelligence-led transformation. So I'll just make a note here saying, as consultants, our value lies in helping clients navigate complexity. AI is adding new layers of both opportunity and uncertainty. By adopting an AI-first mindset, we position ourselves not just as implementers, but as strategic advisors who can guide clients through change with clarity, confidence, and measurable impact. Before we wrap up, I want to highlight a few steps. Again, if you're interested, we have a workshop taking place in September. Please sign up. And again, thanks again for your time and engagement. Let's keep leading with intelligence. Thank you very much, Josette.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much, Patrick. On behalf of CMC Canada, big thank you for joining us today and sharing your expertise. I'm certain that your experience leading AI-driven transformations and your advice on helping consultants leading with intelligence has given everyone a lot to take away. We really appreciate the real-world examples, insights, and clarity you brought to the session. And thank you to all of you who attended the session. Thank you for submitting your questions. Great questions, by the way, and we will follow up with those that we were unable to answer live. We hope that you found the presentation practical and inspiring for your work as consultants. And a reminder that the recording of the session will be shared with you. So keep an eye out for as well all the upcoming events with CMC Canada, the BMS, and the workshop, and so more that is coming through now until the end of the year. So yeah, thank you all for joining and have a great day. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your day, everyone.